Me slurping. It's part of the charm. Boom. Headshot. My face. I don't know if I'm centered or not. Am I centered? I'm probably fine. Can you hear me okay? How's it going? How are people doing today? So these streams are typically about me answering questions, talking about Star Citizen news, talking about BoredGamer news, about me a little bit. Go off on a bit of a tangent a lot of the time, but they're supposed to be for more community interaction and answering questions that you have. I'm not a CIG employee or a dev for their company or anything, but I am effectively a specialist in Star Citizen now. My self-appointed job is to maintain my Star Citizen YouTube channel, BoredGamer, and I just research Star Citizen and related news stories most of the time.
Beautiful.
Oh, thank you very much. Mantis, thank you very much for the bits. Oh, for good luck. Thank you. So, yeah, we'll talk about that in a second as well. So, a few things that I want to go over today, like basic news and admin and housekeeping. And then I'll go through all the questions that I can see. If you want to ask a specific question, if you put question in brackets in front of it, preferably in capitals, it helps me pick it out. I will try and read other bits and bobs as well from the chat. I am a good few minutes behind on chat as well, typically, because I'll be scrolling up and down. I might not answer a question until a little bit later in the sort of like chatty mabobs on stream. So bear that in mind. My tea as well. I've realised my glasses are really useful for reading now. Like my eyes do not get tired in the same way with my reading glasses. So thank you very much to Kit for forcing me pretty much to go to get an eye test. And they said you don't really need a prescription, but you can get some computer glasses for reading and working on the computer that will help make you feel less tired. And I was like, okay, cool. And they work. Yeah. So I'll start with this because I want the meat of the stream to be about Star Citizen because that's what the channel's about and that's why most people are here. My dad's got a major operation tomorrow. He has lung cancer. He's having a third to a half of his lung removed if all goes well. So that'll be tomorrow morning. And I don't know if I'm going to be working throughout the day or if I'm going to be in the hospital or what. It sort of depends on what my mother wants for that because my dad pretty emotionally like a brick wall, and he just wants it done and over with, and he doesn't want people like sort of like worrying over him or anything, like quite genuinely. Yeah, so it's as minor as major surgery as you could have. He's got the best possible type of curable cancer. It's at the very bottom of his lung and stuff. So yeah, it's a bit shit. Something that we'll all have to deal with in our lives, though, the mortality and health problems either ourselves or our loved ones. So I'm not asking for like all the sympathy in the world. But if you have any good energy you can send out, or any prayers, or whatever the fuck you want to send, whatever your creed, religion, colour, whatever you think's right, I'm casting a wide net. If you want to help with thoughts, then please do. Appreciate it as well. So yeah. Hopefully it will go well and he'll be back at home grumpy and I'll be looking after him for a few weeks. Shouldn't affect the channel too much after that. I'm pretty got a good rhythm going on. Zin's going to start to work for me probably at the end of April now. That's the plan. Then the channel should take a bit more, expand a bit more. I should be able to get a lot more gameplay stuff out. Been watching like some Rexzilla and some other people actually get very good gameplay content out now and thinking, well, I can organise that. I can organise some shipboarding events and things like that. So a few things before 3.5 goes live if possible. But after it does, then we'll go for a lot more gameplay content. There's a lot in 3.5 that should make the game a lot more playable in its current state without so many gameplay loops, and the flight model and hopefully combat not being trash, ESP not being trash, should help a lot. But I mean, that is a bit of a hope. I think it's a reasonable expectation though for the patch. But yes, thank you very much for joining me today. We'll go for a while. I want to answer lots of different questions and just chat. I don't think I'll be able to concentrate on making a proper video today. Although I did say some devs answering questions about like RTX, Ben Parry, and David Coulson was talking about the new flight model, things like that. So I could probably put a video together if I have to. Brett, mate, prepare for my questions to come. I look forward to them. I am a Battlestar Galactica fan. Yes, I mean I think it was the remake was one of the best things that happened to sci-fi in a long time and helped push this sort of like more dark, gritty sci-fi. Very, very good Battlestar Galactica. The last episode half of it was great and half of it was trash. But other than that, it's been amazing. Hang on, this isn't Apex Legends. We'll talk a little bit about Apex Legends because I think Apex Legends is one of my favorite games ever. Straight away, like I love Source games. I love Source Engine. Just love it. It's grown up. I've grown up with Source Engine, and this is Titanfall 2. Well, it's just Titanfall 2 engine, just a little bit improved and tweaked. And Titanfall and Titanfall 2 are some of my favorite games ever as well. It is a free-to-play battle royale game done right, in my opinion. Quick, snappy gameplay. It's allows people to play in lots of different styles, and it's very good fun. It gives you the badass feeling that you had when playing Titanfall, but also it's got the sort of like quick, snappy gameplay of a battle royale, and it's super polished. And there's certainly a couple of bugs in it, and at the moment, lots of people are experiencing crashes from it because of memory errors or because the easy anti-cheat kicks them out. But I think it's one of the best games I've played. Very much enjoying it. I'll be playing it a load in the evenings, and there will be content on my second channel, which is BoredGamer Legends, which I think it's BoredGamer Apex Legends at the moment, but I'm going to rename it BoredGamer Legends. So people should check that out. Free to play. Doesn't look like a money grab at all. Very beautifully polished game. So yeah, playing that in the evenings on either my Twitch or DC's or Zin's. Green screen is weird. Is it messing up? No. Yes. My green screen is weird. 1 second. Let me sort that out. I think I can just change the white balance down slightly. There we go. That should fix it. Makes me look a little bit washed out, but it will fix the blurbiness. Ripping off CIG for late starts? How dare you? I started perfectly when I meant to, like a wizard. You're very shiny today, thank you, yes. Endeavour, any news? No. No. I was expecting it to be one of the last ships they actually sort of get in the game, because it's the science mechanic. Science is very wide and complicated, and the Endeavour really needs modules to work. It needs a load of them because it's going to be very configurable. So it's quite complicated, the Endeavour. It's supposed to split up so that the front half and the back half can separate. So they could take a pass at the Endeavour and then do it again. But oh, Galamars, thank you very much for the chair. I only just saw that. And KWO311, thank you very much for the donation. I appreciate it. Hey, Board, do you have info on exactly what the new projectile manager will consist of? Sending some positive energy from California for your family. Semper Fildis Semperfi. Let's go for that. Let's go for that. Thank you very much. Very much appreciated. New projectile manager is supposed to help projectiles to be more realistic. I suspect it's just a more efficient way of dealing with multiple projectiles in small spaces for the servers. Bullets will probably have bullet drop, and yeah, the server will more efficiently deal with them, so there's not a billion entities flying around all the time. I don't know exactly what it's going to consist of because they haven't broken it down fully, but it'll be something like that. Just expect weapons to basically be reworked in atmosphere for the most part. My dad's doing all right at the moment. However, obviously his operation's tomorrow. He's running around the house just trying to, do everything. Because if anything happens to me, then I'm going to make sure there's a torch so he can go in the attic. That's what he was doing earlier. And if anything happens to me, I'm going to make sure the plumbing's all fixed. So he's just running around being stupid, trying to fix everything and have as much control as he can over any situation. That's where I get my anxiety from, my father. So thanks for that, Dad. Are you a Battlestar Galactica fan? And do you think...
Bored. So great to see today. You are always an inspiration to me when I'm being attacked by the darkness of depression and anxiety. My blessings to you, good sir.
Thank you very much. Didn't really inspire the same sort of beautiful sentence that was in the computer voice, but thank you very much, the Deep Fryer. Very much appreciated. I mean, I'm relatively realistic when it comes to stress, depression, and anxiety. I mean, I suffer from it, but I could be suffering from it a lot worse. I can manage it, and people aren't alone. You're not. Most people will feel better. There's no situations you can't deal with as a person, like quite genuinely. There's always something that you can do, or enjoy yourself, or be happy eventually, or there's lots of things. Grief and terrible things will happen. Life is beautiful, but also terrible, and it's a struggle a lot of the time for a lot of different people for a lot of different reasons. And I just think that life changes. Some people hate change. They can't deal with it. People's worlds are all different. Like when you were at school or college or whatever, it's very different. Your whole world's different. You might entirely be based on a social circle, and that's your life. And something happens with that, then it can feel like your whole life's crumbling down. But as you get older, you realise that there's a lot more layers to life, and you're adaptable. You're human. There's a lot going on. I constantly process sort of like existential crisis of, oh my God, what happens when we die? Or what's the value of life? Is it infinitely valuable, like unquantifiable, or is it infinitely meaningless and zero? And it's a constant struggle in my brain for that. But I realised that at the very least, I can try and live sort of like a good life, try and be a good person, try and be reasonable, and try and leave the world better than I started it in. Do you see what I mean? Sort of look after your friends, look after your loved ones, and try not to be a dick, that sort of thing. Sorry, I just went up for existential rant there, but that happens sometimes. Are they going to be adding more music to the game? Yes, Pedro is actually working on the ArcCorp ambience and background music and Area 18 at the moment. So Pedro will be looking at future zones, I believe, as well. And they are working on a better audio system, constantly retweaking it for it to be seamless and dynamic. Really, they need combat to be done properly for them then to dial in their dynamic audio system for fighting and stuff so that it feels good. The basis of it is certainly there, though. This may sound like a silly question, but why is everyone super excited about the Anvil Carrack? The Carrack is just one of the most loved ships in the game. It is a small corvette. It is a big ship, but can be used by like a group of friends. So like 6 people can fly that ship super effectively and go on proper adventures. And it's sort of like, because it's exploration mechanic based and does a little bit of everything, it just sort of like a lot of people love it. It's a really cool ship. It's one of my favorites. Thank you for all the love, by the way. I appreciated all the comments. My father very much appreciated. Would you start paying Zin with our money? Will we be allowed to call her names too? Of course, Mantis. No worries. Yeah. I'm working out all the particulars of Zin's contract as well because I want to, if the channel does amazingly well, I want to be able to pay her more because it seems sensible to do that. And when she streams, I want her to be incentivized to stream and do well at streaming, so she'll get a larger percentage of cuts from things like that. And I'll probably, with anything that is allowed to be divulged, like, oh, I don't want you to tell everyone about exactly the particulars of my contract, or she might not give a fuck, but I'm sort of like, I don't see a problem talking to the channel about that sort of stuff and the inner workings of how BoredGamer's going to work and expand. At the very least, I can get some more ideas to do stuff better. With 3.5, will you or other players play with a male or female character? Male for most of my accounts. I'll probably have a couple of accounts with females on, though. Because it would be good for filming, whatever. Until Star Citizen is ready to play with full persistence and meaningful progression, I will be trying a little bit of everything in the game. And I'll have multiple accounts and multiple different landing zones for that purpose. Best way to work around the error code 15010. Just 2 minutes to reconnect. I always end up in an endless loading screen. I'm not suffering from that problem, Dominic. So I'm sorry, I don't know how to answer that. The best way to work around it. Do you have concerns about the fire safety of CIG facilities worldwide? We don't want this to be Charred Citizen. I hate you so much. Yesterday I heard someone discuss about the game, and there was said after Squadron 42 release they should stop selling ships we gave you legs, learn how to walk. What do you think? I think that person has no idea how to make money for Star Citizen. I mean, what's a ridiculous thing to say? They are funded, the game is funded, and it's got this long development cycle, which some people hate, but a lot of people obviously love, by ship sales. And that allows them to expand the project and hopefully make an amazing, groundbreaking game. Stopping them to stop selling ships. Why? That's where their money comes from. It will make them release the game faster. Yeah, it'll make them cut a load of corners and be like a publisher is pushing them. And they might have to go for external sources for revenue. If everything collapsed with ship sales, they would almost certainly go to a publisher or go to outside finance to get a few $100 million to fully market and then release the game. But that's just such a silly thing to say. I mean, I in my opinion anyway, ship sales, that's how the game's become funded. That's how the game is being funded. That's why it's so successful. What is the strange alien light of Eddie stream? That was just the white balance being a bit wrong. When the 890 jump goes back on sale, will it be limited? Should I get it? I'm thinking about upgrading from the Endeavour. The Endeavour's going to be a while before it's in game. However, 890 jump's going to probably be at least $890 again, if not more now. I think it's a super expensive ship. It's something I definitely get in game. Personally, I think the Endeavour will be worth a load of money eventually when it's released as well, in-game money. So bear that in mind. I think the 890 jump's going to be super expensive, but yeah, will be limited. You'll be able to get it in game. So, do you think they will add realistic audio propagation, i.e., see things before you hear them at a distance, and echoing off walls and canyons? Alfred, yeah, almost certainly. They've got reactive sound points already on ships for vibration. They'll probably do some silly audio work for that, as long as it's not too processor intensive. If they can do it, they might semi-fake it or whatever. They did want positional distance audio, I think, so that you could, the room system would also propagate audio correctly. So as part of the room system, so you could hear stuff coming from particular doorways, walls would muffle it, audio would come from multiple points. When do you think the Pioneer and Genesis Starliner will be implemented into the game? Pioneer. Oh, yes, shipbuilding. So, they are the Crusader Industries stuff. So, the Mercury Starliner will be worked on first. We should see work on that this year. When that's completed, they're moving on to the Hercules, and then I suspect eventually they'll move on to the Genesis Starliner. Now, the thing with the Starliner is I think the Starliners are going to be used planet-side as little ports to move you across planets, and also for people across the surface of planets to other locations, but also from planet to planet in systems. So I suspect that's something they do want to get in the game reasonably soon. Pioneer, I'm not sure, because the Pioneer requires a lot of work to come together. They'll want to get in the actual land claiming and some land claiming and exploiting gameplay before they even consider getting the Pioneer in my opinion. So maybe a couple of years for the Pioneer. My expectation of it. 2.5 years sort of thing. It's going to be a while for that. Expect anyway. About VIP trans.
I am going to buy so many spaceships.
Love to your father and you, man.
Oh, Stormfire, thank you so much for the donation, and thank you very much for the love. Very much appreciated. Thank you. Hey, Bored, big fan of your coverage. Some buddies and I are thinking about backing. How's the game standing as of now? You getting Division 2? No, so Division 2 and Anthem are games I was considering buying, but I'm liking Apex Legends too much. So I'll be playing Apex Legends probably exclusively until I'm bored of Apex Legends, which might not happen for a long time. And then hopefully Anthem and Division 2 will be cheaper. But Division 2 is something that I was excited about and will look at some point. Played a little tiny bit of it in the beta weekend and thought it was okay. More of the same of Division 1, a little bit better looking, some refined gameplay there. there. Star Citizen, standing wise, if you have a group of friends to play with, and you are aware that Star Citizen isn't alpha, there's a big reset like every 3 months. They're constantly patching it. There's a reasonable amount of gameplay to do now. However, once you sort of hit the barrier of that, it will become relatively boring unless you're organising your own gameplay or have an organisation to play with or have a group of friends to play with. Very fun, but the part of the loop at the moment is giving feedback on those features and bugs, finding bugs, reporting on bugs, prioritising stuff, following the project. So if you want to be involved with that, then it's great. If you want a sit down and play game that you want to play with your friends, look at something else. At the moment, Star Citizen is not ready to sit down and play with, like, hold your hand, take you through content. A lot of it is finding your own things to do. It's much more sandbox at the moment. Eventually, it will be much more like EVE Online is with having lots of different things to do, lots of different missions to do constantly. And there's a reasonable amount of that in Star Citizen now, but there's no real reasons to do that because there's not that much to buy. There's not that much to do. Only a very small amount of the gameplay loops are actually there, and lots of stuff is changing. Like the combat and flight model at the moment in 3.4.3, not amazing. It's being reworked for 3.5 entirely. So that is when, if you're sort of like on the fence, is when I would look at getting in, because at least then your skills will be transferable in the new flight model. You're learning with the new flight model. Even if they tweak it and dial it in, you'll still have the same sort of basis for it. That's just my opinion on it. But you did ask for it, so, you know. Based on development history, how long would you suggest it will be until we get the Mercury Starweller being usable? As early as first quarter 2020, well, I'd say. So March 2020. Yeah, it's sort of like when I'd optimistically think it would be. Do you think CIG might still do AI companions and crews this year and are just playing things safe, not mentioning them for now? I mean, it's a possibility. They're certainly going to be working on the tech for that. I mean, they need to get AI in a good place for Squadron 42, so they need those crewmen to actually be able to fly ships, run ships multi-crew. So a lot of the tech for that is coming. I don't think it will be ready for multiplayer for the Persistent Universe this year. You might see AI companions participate in missions with you this year. But you're not going to see AI crews for the Persistent Universe unless something magical happens, or unless they're really hiding it. I mean, you might see something like that for CitizenCon. They might partly fake it, and so well, this is the way the tech works for Squadron 42. Let's make an isolated instance that we can make it run in or something. New 325A to have cargo still or not, do we think? So let's if I don't answer your question in like a good amount of time, feel free to ask it again. That is not what I'm looking at. Give you this. So some of the internal shots of the 300. I don't know if the 325A will have cargo or not. It might have a tiny little space for it. Don't know. Don't know until they finished reworking it. 300 I will. Good. But and I suspect the 315 would. But the others, maybe not. I'll have to wait and see, unfortunately. I do not have the answer for that. Am I going to BrisbaneCon, amigo? Yes, I'm going to BrisbaneCon. If you want to get some BrisbaneCon tickets, we'll talk about BrisbaneCon in a minute, actually. Is the Caterpillar relevant anymore? Yeah, they'll be working on modularity and modules at some point. Obviously, they don't need any form of modularity for Squadron 42. That is very much a Persistent Universe thing, so expect it to be worked on next year after Squadron 42 comes out. They'll probably put some thought into it, but we're not going to see swappable modules for most of the ships, if any of the ships this year. Do you think devs would put in more locations as a surprise around the roadmap? but they don't put it in the roadmap because they don't know when it's ready. Yes, I do think that's a possibility. They also said that the roadmap now, the roadmap that's been updated, is a lot less aggressively planned. So what I mean by that is when it comes to what they think they can get in. So they're very, very high confidence that everything they've got in the roadmap at the moment is going to make it in when they said it is. Obviously, there will be some movement, but not as much as in the past. And they also said that because of that, it's very possible that they're about to get some more stuff in, especially towards like 3.7, 3.8 towards the end of the year, that they haven't got on the roadmap yet. And there's some stuff that they're keeping back as surprises, so that they will probably fit in somewhere. Do you think we'll see planet entry angle matter this year and maximum speed in ATM, SEM, go away and replaced with, what was that? Something else I'm not getting the acronym for, replaced with system degradation at high speeds. I think safe speed at the moment is just there to limit your speed as you get lower in atmosphere. So it's more of a balance thing. But they are going to be changing the way everything works. Luke Presley was talking about it being much quicker to get from ground to space and space to ground. So there's a lot of stuff they could do when it comes to the new flight model in 3.5 and the way they do that. Yeah, it could be if you go over the safe level, then you can get shield damage, some degradation damage, thruster damage. You might use more fuel, lots of stuff. You are awesome, dude. And you have people who care. Keep up the great work, not just in Star Citizen, but in real life. Have you said anything about ore filtration system for the Prospector? No, I haven't, but have I, in fact? So we know it's supposed to be able to eventually have detachable little pods that fill up cargo that you can pick up later again. And it's supposed to be able to chuck out any materials that you don't want. I don't know when that's coming, though. Anything you expect to happen at BritisonCon that's cool? At BritisonCon, there'll probably be a couple of cool panels. There'll be JD Fabrication, or JR Design and Fabrication. They basically made that sort of like the real life model of the Dragonfly and the really big cool looking Saber Raven, things like that. So they'll be there. There's probably going to be really cool stuff like that. There might be a competition, like some sort of PvP thing. Typically, they have some cool stuff. There might be little sneakies that we get from CIG, maybe. Typically, the panels are pretty good. Typically, there's a dev panel, things like that. I'm very excited about going. It's also amazing for me to be able to go have some drinks and chill out and chat to people. In your last video, you mentioned the Xi'an rocket launcher. I haven't seen anything about a rocket launcher. Did you mean missile launcher? They're very different, rockets and missiles. I did mean rocket launcher, I think. I probably meant missile launcher rather than rocket launcher. I apologize for the confusion that I caused. When will the Drake Corsair concept be shown? We don't know, but I suspect we will see a concept sale of something later this month. So either between this Friday and the end of February. That's what I'm expecting. And I suspect it will be Drake's answer to the Constellation. But it might have a little more sort of like more exploration-y feel to it. That's what I'm sort of expecting. Yeah, they hold back some content till Squadron 42 is ready, right? So do you think we'll get more systems when Squadron 42 is released? So they just don't want to spoil where the story goes. I mean, Squadron 42 is not too far away now. They look like they want to they want to release in 2020. So we know that at the very least the Odin system will be done with Squadron 42, and any other system that's used for Squadron 42. It might need some, well, probably will need some Distant Universe work before it's actually in game. But yeah, I mean, at least we know there's more systems ready then. I'm not sure if they've decided how they're going to jump points, but I suspect we'll see jump points next year and more systems next year in game. Are they going to be able to fit the 890 jump at current size pads and hanger, or are they going to have to make them bigger again? So I doubt they're going to make landing pads any bigger. The current landing pads at Port Olisar, the 00 large pads, I believe they will fit the 890 jump. Let me just check that. They can fit a reclaimer, which is 155 meters. Matrix. Have a look to see how big 890 jump is. Yeah. Yeah. You'll be able to fit it in its current size. They made it huge. Hey, Mr. Board Gamer, I like your content lately. It's very factual and you remain professional, which I respect. Here's the question. Do you know if the Orion will come on sale soon? No, I don't know for sure. There will be a sale of the Orion probably a few times this year. I'll keep you informed on my channel when I see sales happening. Do you think they will add a new system next year? Yes. They've got from Stanton, they've got the Pyro and Magnus system, which are very easy for them to do, and they're literally proximate to the Stanton system that we currently have. One is the home base for Drake, but basically both those systems should be pretty easy for them to do. One of the, they're pretty simple. They've got like planets which are effectively single biomes or just a couple of biomes that aren't that populated. Obviously, Drake's headquarters will be reasonably populated. And there's like a magma planet, and there's some interesting asteroid fields, and they're working on the procedural asteroid tech this year. What comes first, the chicken or the egg? Persistence or mechanics that allow gameplay progression? Sort of both at the same time. I mean, they have persistence, but they need full persistence first. So full persistence would be the server being able to work out where individual objects have been placed, and then give them an importance level of when they despawn. Basically, as I understand it, if they ever despawn, in fact. But yeah, I suspect there will be some sort of degradation level on objects, because there's no point in the server ever remembering where certain things are in the middle of a jungle on a planet. They would just go, well, we're going to be visited again. Might as well delete this. Maybe it won't. Maybe it will save all the information. That would be amazing. But yeah, I mean, they're working on, they're not mutually exclusively worked on. They're working on both of them at the same sort of time. They're very agile in their development rather than any form of waterfall approach. When do you think the next concept sale will start? Between now and the end of the month. I do agree, that's what I suspect. I do agree, but how do you think buying ships with cash will affect the actual economy? That's where my concern is with selling ships after the game is live. Mantis, you're going to have, okay, so if CIG didn't sell ships, okay, someone else would sell them. They'd be on eBay, they'll be on black market, there'll always be that sort of stuff. There'll always be a place for currency. People always buy them if they want to buy them. So it being regulated is a good thing, because then there's CIG have a lot of control over anything like that. So they just need to make it so it's not pay to win. So they can't gate the access to a ship so you can only buy it with money, or that it's so expensive that only people with money can buy them, things like that. They need to all be obtainable in game in some way, and it needs to be in a reasonable manner, reasonable and appropriate. And we'll see more once we have more of the game, I suppose. We need to make sure we keep them clean and appropriate with it, because even if they're not being super greedy, money hungry, grabby, they still might get the way they implemented it wrong. So the community need to keep them honest with that and keep it appropriate. But I don't mind them selling ships after release. I mean, I think that's a good idea for them to sell a limited amount of ships and to continue selling concept ships, in my opinion. It'd be like Warframe early access. You get this ship really early if you buy it. Support the game. Boom. As long as they don't keep on making more and more powerful ships, they're physically more and more better that people then can't get until they buy them, or they only get them early if they buy them, but they're literally just better. That would be taking the piss. That would be pay to win. Are they going to continue to sell ships once the game's out? If not, will they start doing subscription once it launches? I think they'll keep their options open. when it comes to things like that. I talked to Aaron about it a while ago, and he basically said, we think we can just sell the game, and we can sell currency once the game goes live properly, and that should be enough, but we will explore other avenues if we have to. So yeah, they're probably at the back of their minds, they've got, we could do a subscription model, we could keep on selling concept ships, they could do a lot of different things. I suspect they'll have microtransactions with skins, things like that. I think these are all things that they've at least considered. And I do suspect we'll see more than just UEC on sale and game packages on sale. But again, as long as that doesn't become break the game with pay-to-win bullshit, I'm okay with it. But I think it's something they need to discuss with the community, whatever they decide to do. If in Squadron 42 they sacrifice a Pegasus like Lee did in Battlestar Galactica, shall we riot at the waste of the better ship? I think that's... I'm interested to see what they do in Squadron 42. I'm very much looking forward to it. I'll get a few different playthroughs on my channel of it. I'll do like 2 main playthroughs probably. And then I'll look at like clips of silly things that you can do and like Easter eggs and stuff probably. Now that we have the full year's version numbers, 3.infinity, what level of significant change do you think will be needed to hit alpha version 4.0, if ever? I think the point and prefix and suffix numbers are pointless and meaningless now. I think they're just going to keep on releasing every 3 months, and then every so often reschedule exactly what their priorities are, probably once a year. You just see more features every 3 months. It doesn't matter what version number it is. When you think escape pods will be operational, they need the ship-to-ship docking stuff to work for that. Anytime after the Hull C is launched, so and the Hull C is Q4 this year, so they can start. We can start potentially having them in game from then onwards. The reason I say that is because the Hull C represents lots of technologies coming together, including physics grids being able to morph, the multi-grid physics tech, attachment points working, lots of different things like that. And it needs ship-to-station docking. Ship-to-ship docking coming at the same time? I think it is. Repeat. Proclaimer, any info on claw, drones, or tractor beams, or anything else? No, not really. I suspect the first iteration of salvage that we get in Q4 now will be similar to mining, but it might be slightly more tractory. Like you might be able to see larger bits get tracted towards you. So like first iteration of tractor beams as well. Origin 300 rework. Anything new? Thinking about trading in my bulky Titan for the Class 300. So we know that they're going to be doing some interesting things when it comes to customization on the website for the sale for that. Might be able to customize the ship quite heavily with different colors and different loadouts and things before you buy. So I'd say wait until 3.5 is released for that. How effective do you think manned portable rockets will be against ships? Can we shoot down a Hornet with one? I've shot down a Scythe and a Glaive with the railgun. I mean, obviously the game's going to be reasonably well rebalanced. I also suspect that getting hit by something like a rocket or a missile in atmosphere will cause a lot more turbulence and damage to your ship, because it might knock you off, like wiggle more, cause you to like hit the ground and stuff like that. Yeah, they'll be balanced so they're at least somewhat effective against ships if you hit them with them. Probably quite hard to hit a ship with a rocket. Missiles are a lot easier because they'll lock. Or they can lock. The carrot comes with a rover and small ship, which are not in game yet or on the roadmap. When will they come out? Not 100% sure, Dominic. So it's the Pisces is the name of the snub, and is it the Lynx rover for the rover? They're both going to be scout/exploration focused. We don't know exactly when they're coming. What relatively small ship would you recommend to try a little bit of everything? I'm having trouble finding one for both exploration and cargo. The Avenger Titan to start with. Avenger Titan's got cargo, can do a little bit of everything. the sort of like your step up from the basic starships. How is it not pay to win when it will take over 100 hours to get prospectors and over 1,000 hours for an Orion to anyone not 40 hours a week? For a while, it feels like shit. MK19 Monkey. So, Prospector doesn't take over 100 hours to get a Prospector now, but 100 hours to get a ship like that doesn't seem too bullshit to me. And that seems quite reasonable. 100 hours? Yeah. However, you can join a group and work towards getting that together to leverage more stuff. The Orion, or something like a capital ship, is not intended to be bought by a single person, really. That's intended for a group to get together because you want to run it with crew. But yeah, if whales want to buy a capital ship and then try and buy their way into having an NPC crew to run it, they can. But they're not going to be enjoying the game so much, or in my opinion anyway, as much as someone that's got a full human crew that's worked to getting that same ship and they will put a share into it together. Like, yeah, you could do that, but it's not going to necessarily be effective gameplay. You need, running the Orion with NPCs is probably not going to be particularly effective either. You need a crew to run it with you so they can manage the systems correctly, so they can mine correctly, so they can chuck out the ore that you don't want. It's going to be pretty hands-on as processes. So, yeah, I mean, some of the ships are intended to be bought with groups. Some of the ships are intended to take a long time to get. And people can skyrocket their way to getting them straight away in game for day one, effectively. But they're still going to need to crew them. They're still going to need to learn to use them. There's a lot going on there. But it also depends on your definition of pay to win. However, if you want to deem pay to win as the loosest possible definition, which is any advantage that you can get for money, yes, then Star Citizen is pay to win by that definition. But does that mean that pay to win games not be fun or that are entirely broken? No, of course you can have games that have that sort of elements, like Eve, like Warframe, that aren't entirely broken and that work quite well. Why do you think they push salvage all the way until the end of the year? Because they are sort of like reprioritizing Squadron 42 stuff. They are getting all the work they can on Squadron 42 features and then transferable Squadron 42 features into the persistent universe. They want Squadron 42 out next year. So they're getting all of that core gameplay, all of the stuff that they can get nailed down now. They have to for release. And all of that stuff then will get absorbed into the persistent universe. So they're focusing on those sort of features for the most part. However, they still have some teams working on like other gameplay loops for the persistent universe and other stuff. It's just they've largely prioritized Squadron 42 features. You'll see a lot of them that are transferable in the persistent universe. What else have we got? We've seen server crashes and ship bugs. I've given up on making cargo viable. Do you know if CIG are going to implement cargo insurance until the servers are more stable? Thanks, mate. No, I don't know. I know they've looked at item insurance and potentially other insurances, but I'm not sure when that will come in. What are the chances of seeing an alien heavy fighter? Very high at some point. Hi, Bored, love your face. Having worry here, as can no longer see Banner Merchantman listed on the 3.8 update. Banner Merchantman is not on the 3.8 update. The Carrack is, Banner Merchantman is not. They will work on the Banner Merchantman this year, and in fact, I believe they're working on the Banner Merchantman straight after the Banner Defender, I believe. See whether it's ready in time for the end of this year, but I wouldn't expect it. Are you going to have your own AI with information station in the persistent universe? We are so dependent on your knowledge. I think you should have your own outpost people could visit and learn about Star Citizen. I have my YouTube channel. Nubify is going to be a good source of information as well, I suspect. And there'll be loads of other content creators and databases and wikis and stuff that you can use. I appreciate the kind words, though. And I'll continue to do a load of Star Citizen stuff throughout the game's life is my plan. Best guess on Star Runner ETA, start of 2020 would be first quarter 2020 would be my expectation. Do all characters have to be fit space cowboys, or can we make skinny or chubby space campers. To start with, everyone's going to share the same body type. So you can have male bodies or female bodies, but no skinniness or chubbiness or a variation in the actual bodies. That might change in the future. Do you think they'll up the max speed on ships? Because when comparing speeds of NASA's... No, I think you'll see with the new flight model is that it's much more momentum driven, and you can sort of like seamlessly travel easily between SCM and your cruise speeds, but there will be a cap, and it won't be that high unless it's obviously you're going into quantum drive. However, Afterburner as well. Afterburner is just going to help you accelerate now. Not going to give you an additional top max speed. How many star systems do you expect for the PU at launch, and how many do you actually want? They've got plans for between 100 and 120 at the moment. For the actual launch of the Persistent Universe, it's going to be between like...
I am going to buy so many spaceships.
Probably 5
I'm
and
paying
40
to win an
at launch,
answer to
isn't
my
it?
question. Do you think that we'll get the customization options like those on the upcoming 300 series for ships we already own? Sort of retroactively? I heart you, Ina Face. That's right, Ina Face, laughing face.
Oh, it says laughing face. Thank you very much, Harbinger. I love your face as well. You are a genuine champion of the community and a good chap. And hopefully I'll be able to meet you when you come down to Hampshire. That'll be cool. We'll try and arrange something. I don't know if they're going to retroactively have it on ships. I think they will eventually have it for more ships in the future. I'm not sure how the system's going to work or what their intentions are with it. They haven't really talked about it. I have asked questions about it, but I haven't got any answers yet. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I do expect that it won't just be for the 300 series. It will be up for other ships. Probably not straight away, though. So, yeah. Canfield, it's going to be like between 5 and 40 systems at launch, and it depends on what you actually mean by launch. So I think at like a beta level where maybe we don't have any more resets, probably around 5. But when it's sort of like more of a off-the-shelf ready product, probably closer to 20 to 30 sort of thing. Thanks, Meebot. Hey man, thanks for the great content. Thank you very much, Stevenson. Really enjoy how you break things down for us. Keep it up, man. Are there any theories on a possible Anvil capital ship? I want an Anvil capital ship. I was thinking like a drone capital ship, a drone corvette would be really fucking cool, or even battle cruisers and things like that, or cruisers. So I suspect we'll see something like that in the future, almost certainly, and it would be nice to have that sort of like Anvil military ship for more civilian use or militia use. And thank you very much for the monies. Very much appreciated as well. Love, love. You believe that CIG will implement a system for sharing assets and back rewards for people that have multiple accounts and or characters? I think you'll be able to transfer those things in game and sell them in game. Eventually. Another question, just want to tell you, you make me very happy with your answers, and when you think the same like me, at every update, I'm like a child at Christmas. Thanks, we were lucky. Very right, thank you. Very appreciate that, Renee. I do not speak Russian, I apologize. Or read Russian. Or have the letters on my keyboard to respond to you. What is going to happen to the constellation Taurus? Wait, is it just removed from the roadmap? Did it just disappear from the roadmap, the Taurus? I think it did, didn't it? I don't know. That's a bloody good question that I do not have an answer for. So I'll show you what I'm looking at the moment. Got 300 series, the Reliance and the Defender for 3.5 at the moment, and then Jump and Warden for 3.6. Red and the Vanguard updates 3.7 and 3.8. We've got the Prowler, which I was not expecting. The Blue rework, the Carrack, and the Hull C. So yeah, I'm not sure what's happened to the Taurus. Not sure why it's not on the roadmap. Maybe it will appear there. think the 890 jump will be useful under just one man, or must it have crewmen with you? I suspect you'll be able to like at least pilot it, but it will be incredibly vulnerable. I mean, those larger ships are meant to be run with a crew. Do you think the rest of the Hull series will be released after the Hull C? Yes. Not straight away with it, though. We'll get our Hull C as a loaner if you've got like a Hull ship, I expect. Will we get a Valentine's Day sale? I believe we are getting a Valentine's Day sale. Have a quick read in my notes. Share your love with someone special, no matter how many stars, and separate you. Take part in Be My Valentine contest. There's a contest. I suspect there'll be a Valentine's Day sale. They typically do something like that on the 14th. Something. Somnia and BrizzCon within 4 days. April's going to be a busy one. But at least I can douse you in beer. Less than 3. I will see if the others want to go to Insomnia. We didn't have any plans for that because we want to do some more privateer lands because they're just cheaper and easier for us to do. BrizzCon I'll definitely be going to. Potentially Zin, I might entice her to go. We'll see. CitizenCon, however, in the UK, I'll make most of these other guys go. So, thank you very much, Bob Mitchell. I'll see that. I'll see you at the very least at BrizzCon. Thank you for the money as well. What else have we got here? Instead of just having a parachute to land, should... Huh. That's the question. There will be ways of ejecting from your ship in atmosphere and surviving. They suggested that it might be a parachute, but it could be a lot of different ways. Do you think there will be a lot of dangerous situations popping up when it comes to people maybe not use comms, identifying themselves or explaining intent when being held or approaching a clan's capital ship? Yeah, I suspect the in-game comm system will be used to communicate with people and diffuse situations, or, you know, not to diffuse them. So if land claim markers already had a concept, when do you think Outpost will join in the PU? I don't know. So the end of last year, end of 2018, the original plan was to have land claims in-game and some gameplay attached to them. Not the building of outposts, but maybe you could spawn them in or something, but no building with them. But there was supposed to be some gameplay there. So I suspect that that's already planned. They probably reprioritized everything because of Squadron 42, though. So we'll probably see land claim gameplay and potentially surveying and stuff next year. And we could even see the Pioneer. I think it's going to be a couple of years for the Pioneer, personally. What's the latest news on components insurance? We don't really know at the moment. They want to have item insurance and physical inventories and stuff like that. So we need more insurance. They're looking at it.
Tricksy little
But no,
hobbitses.
Love your face, Bored. I hope everything goes well with your dad.
Thank you very much. Me too, mate. Thank you very much, Jaden. Very much appreciated. Love your face. You noticed the word crafting on the new roadmap for 3.8. This is the first time Star Citizen has ever had officially confirmed crafting. Well, it had officially confirmed crafting with the science mechanics on the Endeavour, with the labs craft or build drugs and things. One of the things they said you could do. Depends on how you define it. I am going to try and find what exactly you mean, though, on the roadmap. 3.8 in gameplay, I take it. Where's the word crafting? What's it crafting? What crafting for what, Precious? Tell me what you mean crafting about, if you can. That would be appreciated. I did not notice the word crafting, or maybe I did. I don't know. Be mad if there's a subscription model. They might do voluntary subscriptions like they do now. Yeah, continue to get flair and things. There's loads of ways that they could monetize Star Citizen after release that wouldn't piss people off. Look at Apex Legends. Entirely free game, just aesthetics. I mean, actually, you can buy heroes in that, but they don't break the game not having them. Not yet, anyway. Will we be able to have a house or hang a planet side for storage? Yes, eventually. And they'll be physicalized as well. That's what they look like. And so they will actually have physical addresses. Persistent habs is what they're called at the moment. And persistent hangers. Would you ever do a lore series? Yeah, I would. I've done lore series in the past. I will typically do a quick compressed lore on a subject or taking us up to date. So I probably need to update my lore series with all of the lore over the last year and a half. But then I could do a very specific compressed lore on important things like the Stanton system and all of that, all of the things within the Stanton system. That's the sort of stuff I'd do if I was going to do lore. Ship-to-ship refueling. When will we be able to get our hands on it? I don't know, Dominic. Was going to be this year, but it seems to have moved off the roadmap. There is some stuff to do with fuel this year, but it's more sort of like how fuel balances in the economy and how hydrogen fuel refueling works. You think ship-to-ship docking will fix some of the issues when loading ground vehicles into ships? I think ship-to-station docking will as well. And just having the multi-grid physics tech working properly with the hull C so that things interact correctly. It also helps for server meshing. It also helps for all that sort of stuff as well. Bob Mitch, the pay to win isn't necessarily what do you win argument. The pay to win argument is, do you get an advantage by putting money? And when I say advantage, people typically go for the one-on-one versus advantage. And then, yeah, you do get if someone buys in the persistent universe a Hornet and someone has a starter ship and you go to an area like one of the non-safe areas and fight, the person in the Hornet will probably win. But obviously, Star Citizen's not intended to be played that way, and that situation is odd. But if you go for more of a, does it give you an advantage because you don't have to grind so much, or because you can skip gameplay or whatever, then yeah, it does. But is that insurmountable by the players? Does that break the game? Things like that. That's the sort of things that CIG and Star Citizen need to make sure they don't have. It needs to make sure that it doesn't break the game. It needs to make sure that players can get it all in game, and they don't go, well, I have to spend a year getting this ship and someone goes, just fucking bought it, fuck off. Any indication on the next date? Either party needs to test 3.5. Okay, so no confirmed dates, and if I had been given either party information, I wouldn't be able to share it. But we do know that they want to test the new flight model weeks before 3.5's release. So I would expect any time between probably like next week onwards, we might see a flight model 3.5 build for either party. How am I doing? I'm all right. To be honest, I'm not doing too bad. I'm not sure if I'll get a video out today, but I'm doing a longer form stream. But I do need to pee in a minute. You're getting loads of answers for your question. I'm obviously anxious about my dad's operation tomorrow. He's hard to talk to about that sort of stuff. I want to give him a big hug and say I fucking love you, but then I don't know how he'd react, and it's not the sort of thing he wants. Complicated. It's my mother, very emotional, very okay at just talking about whatever. My dad not. Dad is stoic with his emotion. I'm very thankful to my parents. They always think they've done a bad job with me and my other brothers. They always blame themselves for everything. I think it's their fault. They should have done something better or whatever. But they the best parents I could have ever hoped for. Like, they allowed me to find myself and work out my own way through life while also offering support at the same time, without telling me what was, without forcing upon me what was right and wrong, but they gave me good morals. Like, I feel like I had the freedom to be whoever I wanted to be with them. And that's something that I'm very, very thankful for. And they're amazingly supportive and whatever. Like, I could ask them anything and they'd help me out at massive detriment to themselves. Answer to question right now. What is the latest news on component insurance? I've literally answered it a while ago. Maybe he hasn't seen it. Hopefully he heard the answer when I said it, which is for components insurance. They are looking at more insurance things. They're looking at item insurance at the moment. We don't have a date on it. Will they have ships in game which have an alien-like UI rather than the standard one? Yes. Even the Vandal ships have a more alien UI. However, they are converted for human use, so that UI that they do have is a human one that Asperia have put in. But Apoa and stuff like that, especially like the Banu Merchantman, that might have a very different UI. Bored, are you planning to go to the bar citizen in the noisy sinkhole that is London on the 19th? I hadn't planned on it. However, I do want to start going to bar citizens, especially ones that are near-ish me. So I will look at that and consider it, work out something for the future. Good parents always just want us to have better lives than they did. Yeah, I'd say that's probably fair. Whatever that make look like. Whatever that may look like, even if you don't necessarily understand our decisions and choices, sounds like your folks are good ones. They are. I'm very lucky. Is there going to be a way to get custom clothing or ways to get different camo to be applied to most armors? So they've got two different ways of doing stuff, and they haven't confirmed which way they're going to do. They're either going to have lots of different armors with the same suit of armor with different colors and stuff that they can have on them, lots of different variants, or they're going to have a system where you can paint your armor. One or the other, they haven't confirmed which yet. Mobile lifestyle, would you rather permanently live on a Carrack or an 890 jump? On a Carrack. 890 jump is cool, but I can do a lot more in the Carrack probably. When do you think we'll see the Cloud City on Crusader? There is a small possibility, Dominic, that we will see Orison at the end of this year. A very small possibility. Because they did say that previously, that they wanted to get it in. They've also said if they have time, then they'll add some more stuff onto the roadmap. So there's a very small possibility at the end of this year. However, probably first quarter 2020. That would be Cloud Tech for Crusader and Orison would be my expectation. Right now, a single motivated individual can still ship easily. Do you see them changing that? Yeah, so you'll have to hack into ships. You'll have to... ships will be locked when they spawn. You'll have to hack into them or blow open doors or otherwise gain entry into a ship to steal them or disable them in space to board them and steal them in the future. Almost certainly. Bored at work is like a wonderful streaming pile of sunshine smeared all over my otherwise dreary day. Lovely. What a beautiful phrase. Can we expect a pledge store overhaul? Almost certainly. They need to overhaul lots of bits of the website. The rest of the RSO website was overhauled fairly recently. Why was the pledge store left behind? Probably because they didn't prioritize it, but I suspect we'll see one. Probably potentially with the 300 series rework and the new way they want to do customization of ships for sales and 3.5, we could potentially even see it then. Oh, big. So my chat that I've got open just occasionally jumps ahead. A load of questions out, so apologies for that. How do you contact a real person at customer support? My ships don't show up in Arena Commander. I submitted an issue ticket. There was only an option for 3.4.3 PTU, not live. Ted, just message customer support. They'll get back to you eventually. I'm still waiting from customer support tickets from like several weeks ago, so like 3 weeks ago. It takes them a long time, especially at this time of the year, because they're catching up on a load of tickets. And although typically tickets at the moment are coming in slower for them, they will get back to you eventually. User Guide decided to back Squadron 42. Now they're saying it's being released as episodes. Well, that we have to purchase each episode separately. If you backed years ago, you've probably got access to at least episode 1 and 2. Those episodes are separate AAA games. So they're additional games. They're not the breaking down of Squadron 42. Thank you very much, Araneo, for the host. Very much appreciated. At least that's the way I understand it. The Squadron 42 episode 2 was basically supposed to be the mission pack, but they're making it into its own AAA game. And then went, well, a couple of years later, we'll also have Squadron 42 episode 3 as well. Sorry, I'm several, like 15 minutes behind on chat. That just happens because of the questions. Can we expect a Brett answered that? Can you explain how physicalized inventory will be different from the current inventory system in Star Citizen? So at the moment in Star Citizen, you can buy stuff and you just hold all of it effectively in your hands. You can change to any armor set you have. You can change to any weapon you have at the touch of a button straight from your movie glass. You won't be able to do that in the future. You'll have to choose locations where those items are stored, and you'll have to get those items from there. You'll only be able to hold a certain amount on you, and then you'll have to have like your armor, stuff like that, in lockers in ships, or at stations, or in habs, whatever. So you don't have magic bags of holding anymore. You only have what you have on you. Ideas for an agriculture ecosystem. We know they want to do farming. We know that they're going to have cool things like that around some of the cities. But beyond that, I'm not sure. I'm expecting at least 20 to 40 hours for their campaign story playthrough, for the first playthrough. That'd be my expectation. Board, how will we give instructions to multi-crew NPCs for ship duties? Has there been any dev info on this? Not really, but I suspect it could be pretty simple, like as simple as just them going into combat and they're in combat scenario, just running the systems, sure that the ship doesn't blow up. So very basic levels. We're not sure to what level you'll be able to give instructions or how that will actually be propagated yet. Or even if it will just be behavior based, like you give them basic behaviors like do this, be aggressive, engage enemies at will, or things like that. Might be as simple as you open up the map and say I'm going here, and your pilot will just go course plotted and start driving you there. What features will the Reliant research vessel contain? I don't know. Probably not anything usable when it comes out. Nothing for the research mechanics is what I'm saying. That will be added later. A lot of tasks on the roadmap are nowhere near completion. Do you think they'll move over some over to 3.6? I think they'll get most of 3.5 comfortably done now with its changes. I think we could see a couple of them move over to 3.6. Any guess when they'll stop reselling player accounts? Mainly our bank account balance. So they need to have full persistence in there at the very least, and really we want server meshing before they go live with no more resets. But once they have full persistence, I suspect we'll see less resets. But after Squadron 42's release, they would have probably be near-ish getting these sort of like databases nailed down for the persistent universe as well. They'll work out balance a bit better. So we could start to see a lot less resets at towards the end of next year, sort of thing. Is the lack of roadmap priority for server meshing a mistake? No. So there's no lack of priority for server meshing. They are tweaking and optimizing servers and getting some of that backbone for server meshing done now throughout the patches. There's lots of stuff that they are working on that just does not appear on the roadmap because it's not going to be finished for a long time. But there's lots of features that are part of server meshing that are on there at the moment. They are tweaking a lot of stuff. I've already mentioned it, but I'm just tuning in now. Do you think the bounty merchantment, when do you think the bounty merchantment will be released? Middle of next year, sort of thing? That's what I'm expecting. Bob Mitch, where do you live? I mean, don't tell me the actual address, but I'm getting a plane to Manchester for BritizensCon and for CitizenCon, assuming that CitizenCon's in the UK and in Manchester, which I assume it will be. Did you ever play Star Wars Galaxies? I watched it being played and never actually played it. Got ruined by Jedi, didn't it? Everyone wanted to be a fucking Jedi. Ballpark Evo date for 3.5. I mean, we could have early flight model builds for Evo Kati as early as next week, I suppose. They may start next year with 4.x.x. Yeah, they could. Now, will they finish the standard system? Do you think that we'll see a new system in Q2, Q3, 2020? Yes, I do. I think we'll start to see like the Magnus system, Pyro system, potentially even Odin system. Done some of the Nyx system already. They've done some of the Lear system, I believe. Do you think we're about to go back and configure the ships we've already bought using the new tools released with 300i? I don't know exactly how they're going to do it. I suspect in the future they will have something for that, for more customization of your ships. But also they'll probably have the same features in-game. Keyboard, hello from El Paso, Texas. Question is, how's the Hawk? I plan on being a bounty hunter. It's quite fun. It's a cool little light fighter. It's a little bit heavier than a standard light fighter. You can sleep in the back as well. You can get a teammate, one of your friends, to sleep in the back and transport them to planet-side locations. It's a cool little ship. Be balanced a bit better. We'll see how it flies in the new flight model before I can give you like this is a great ship for this, this, and this. But I suspect it's going to be a suitably great bounty hunting ship. It was relatively low on your poll, but given it's closest to release, do you plan on doing a video for the 890 jump? Yes. Oh, 100%. I'll go through everything like that. Playing with a stick or stick and HOTAS or stick set up, how do you think gimbaled weapons could be improved to get up to par with the mouse? They're going to do pip conversion, automated pip conversion, so there's a lot more choice in weapons you can have, and that should make it a lot better for joystick users. And not relative users. People that use fixed gimbals. But I suppose maybe it won't be fixed gimbals at all anymore. Maybe it will just be the one system that auto converges, or maybe auto convergence is going to be an option you can have on. But that basically will mean that it will work out the distance it needs to fire and you'll have one pip, not multiple pips. It's the idea of that. Odds of replicator-style antagonists. They might do. I mean, they're inspired by all of the sci-fi in the world, so I suspect we'll see some interesting things. I suspect we'll see xenomorphs at some point, and Borg-type things. In a second, I'll finish the list of questions and go pee. I'll leave the chair in charge, and you guys can ask it some questions. Do you think development of the persistent universe should go quite to preserve hype excitement? Quiet? Preserve hype excitement, considering the massive achievements in game design, especially when most backers will be playing Squadron 42. No, I think they just need to continue what they're doing. More information they give us, the better. And they just need to keep on doing what they're doing, even when they release Squadron 42. I mean, not everyone's going to want to play Squadron 42. Not everyone's into Squadron single-player games. A lot of people just want to play in the persistent universe, although there might be a reasonable crossover now because they want to tie some development of your character from the persistent universe and access to items into Squadron 42 for that. No, I don't think they want to go quiet during that period. I think they want to probably step up their game. Like, there's going to be a lot more mainstream people checking out Star Citizen once they have a released product for Squadron 42, because people will go, oh wow, they're actually releasing a game. Any idea why it's so difficult for them to stop the ladders of death or Cat's co-pilot murder seat? I think it's just because of moving physics grids and lots of little tiny bugs and things. Physics grids keep on getting better and better, so it'll come to a point soon, hopefully, where those are very, very much problems of the past. What Star Citizen's strange fetish with mohawks and British accents? It's just a punk thing, isn't it? Obviously, a load of the devs are sort of like probably inspired by Camden punk, because there's a large UK studio and the Camden sort of the sort of age that would between 25 and 40, that would be a big influence to them. When is ship armor getting implemented in game? I had rumors of 3.8, definitely needed for Squadron 42. Also, no one likes the terrapin being poo. Yeah, so I mean they'll have like damage mitigation in the meantime. Expect it will be done at the same time as physicalizing all the components for the terrapin, and the terrapin is going to be the first ship to get fully physicalized components. I don't know though. I mean, we might see some armor and damage mitigation done better for 3.5, but I don't know for sure. Once we have a third landable planet in game, will the game still be a scam? Fuck you, Menace. Hype for the Cully Blue in Q4. Yeah, I'm interested to see what it's gonna be like. Like, will it? You can move the bays at the back out, the prisoner pods, if it still has them. Then I might upgrade my Cutlass Black to one. Any idea whether orgs will be able to form alliances? We will definitely be able to do that sort of thing. They are expanding out orgs at the moment and org features and group and gameplay features for it. You'll definitely be able to have an on-paper alliance and chat to each other as if you're allied, but almost certainly will also be a feature of the game. No details of that mechanic yet, no. Hey, Board, when do you think we'll get persistence? We could get full persistence as early as the end of this year. The full persistence they described anyway, which would be the ability for the server to track items that you place just randomly in a jungle and for them to stay there for at least a certain period of time based on importance. Like, I do suspect the server will have degradation levels for items that it deems not important, like shrapnel, like footprints, things like that. Like discarded medipens. After the Vanguard revamp, do you think the Hoplite will be able to mount the BUKs? I think the BUKs, the Battlefield upgrade kits, are just going to be items which you can place on ships, and you could buy the items separately in game anyway. How hard is it currently to get new ships in game, as in how long in general does it take? It depends on how you're doing it. There are organizations, for example, that will literally just lend you the Alpha UEC. You have to pay them back in Alpha UEC very quickly, but you can borrow 1.4 million Alpha UEC and then just go mining for a few hours and pay them back their money. So you can get that pretty fucking quickly. Or grind your way up just doing missions in a starter ship, which would take a long time, sort of like 50 plus hours to get a prospector or something. But if you're playing really regularly and you're learning the game, then that's probably quite viable for some people. Now we are getting medical gameplay. Will we see the RSI Apollo in game soon? We'll probably see it next year. They'll want proper medical gameplay in the next year, certainly, I suspect. We'll just have very basic PU medical gameplay this year, which will be, you can use your stabby pens, your medi pens on other people. That people might go down and things like that, or get stunned, knocked down. I think that's one of the things they wanted to do this year as well. Will we be able to put sauce in our spaceship scam? What? Will we be able to put sauce in our space scampi? Tartar citizen, I hate you. How long, Jag, did you have to think about that? Have you been doing that since the beginning of the stream? Talked about persistence and resets regularly. They want full persistence and we're likely to see less resets potentially next year, and I suspect we'll stop having resets 2021, probably end of 2021, maybe. Nomad Black news when? At the moment, lots of things are happening in my personal life, like my dad is trying to work out stuff to when Sin's going to be working for me and stuff. So I'll work it out. I suspect that by the time Zin is working for me, so between 3.5 and the end of April, I'll get it so that we're regularly using Nomad Black properly. But I want to get the board game organisation done as well, which will just be social organisation for organising video content and playing and messing around in game. We'll have to wait and see with that, because it takes some organisation. I don't want to just leave people in the lurch with it. When I start doing it, I want it to then continue. Is there any chance for a mid-class mining ship before release of Squadron 42? Maybe a concept for one, but not a released one, no. Very unlikely. I mean, there's always a tiny potential, I suppose. What's your favourite feature on the roadmap? The new flight model? Full persistence at the end of the year, potentially. Does that mean our ship purchases to date and our hangars will be locked? No more melting. Oh, Simon, no. They'll give us a lot of warning before that. It won't be anywhere. As soon as they have no more resets, is when I'm expecting that you won't be able to upgrade your ships any further with cash monies. I'm using the upgrade system. They'll give us a load of warning for that, don't worry. What are some of the things you suspect that are not on the roadmap that may appear to surprise us? Parts of full persistence, Orison, the landing zone there. More mission content, some extra ships that are flyable that are from Squadron 42. Potentially some new locations, new mission givers. Lots more mission stuff. Right. I will be RB. Jay, you're in charge? Oh, it's going to be like 30 seconds. Oh my god. I just saw something that reminded me. This is how infuriating my setup is. So, my PC here. So, that is my M2 drive with my operating system on. I sheared one of the bolts off where the screw sits by accident by screwing it in slightly too hard. I promise I only put a tiny bit of extra pressure on it. I did not go mad on it, but It's held in by loads of electrical tape now. That is really nice of you to see. I'm so sorry to anyone that's looking at it going, oh my god, you fucking monster. But yeah, there we go. It's a board game special. Oh, what have I done? No, yeah. Oh, come on, calm down. Gotta just be firm with these cameras and then they stop doing fuzzy things. Okay. Did you wash your hands?
I'm dodging bullets like fucking
beautiful.
Leo.
Does he bathe enough for your liking? I'm not sure what the chair said, but I think he likes it dirty. Dirty chair. How does it feel to be carrying boards ass all day? You should ask DC that when we're playing Apex. Do you see anything about capturing people in first person on the roadmap, or does it look like they're expanding the ways someone can get a bounty? It looks like they're expanding the ways that you can get a bounty. There'll probably be a little bit more to do with what happens to people once they get shot or killed or whatever. They are working on different ammo types and less than lethal rounds this year. So I suspect that will tie into it. We'll see probably a few bits expanded out on the roadmap. Can you lick the M2? I'm not licking the M2. Not even for a lot of money. I'm not gonna lick my part of my livelihood. Oh, that's oh. Thank you very much, Mantis. For the MacGyver setup, oh my god. Jack O'Neill, mate. On the roadmap is planet side, bounty hunting, so yeah. Takes 32 hours per 1 million Alpha UEC doing bunker missions. I guess. Be a lot quicker when you can travel from planet to atmosphere quicker, which is coming in 3.5 as well. Why am I breaking things? I installed a new M2 drive. Any news on the Faceware dedicated FOIP cam? No, not really at the moment. We know they're working on them. We know that they're going to go pre-order soon, but I'm not sure why they're taking so long. We were expecting to see them go on pre-order last year. You considered getting a case for your PC? Oh my god, no, I like the I like the test bench, thanks. There's been a box over it or something. Once I went to iSeries, which is a big LAN, the biggest sort of like gaming expo and a LAN party in the UK. When I first like met DC and Sin, and I just brought a PC that's just taped together. I just went, well, no one's going to steal it if it looks shit, are they? It's just like oh my god. Is there any info on who will be invited to alpha beta testing of Squadron 42? I suspect it will just be Evocati, although there might be some extra Evocati members added to that. Might be beyond that as well. Whatever happened to the repair robot they mentioned getting in 3.3, I suspect they've reprioritized that because they don't need that sort of level of drone gameplay for the persistent universe yet. I think we will be able to hide in cargo crates or interact with cargo boxes more. Yeah, so they need more cargo interaction with push and pull. I think that's actually on the roadmap for Squadron 42, and I suspect that will actually be subsumed into the game this year for the persistent universe. Also, they need more cargo boxes, different types of cargo boxes, larger cargo boxes, and this is actually sort of part of why I was excited about the Hull C, because it implies that a lot of the new cargo system will be done for that. Will there be capital warships in the game? Yes. There's the Javelin, there's the Idris, and then there'll be larger ones in Squadron 42. There'll probably be larger ones in Persistent Universe. Then we know there's going to be king ships, but whether we're going to get a Super Dreadnought in the Persistent Universe, it might be destroyed in Squadron 42. I'm talking to all of the chats. Is there currently any way to get new hangers in-game? If not, do you think there ever will be? Yeah? I mean, you can... I think you can purchase hangers from the ship store, from the pledge store if you wanted to. I wouldn't. You'll be able to rent hangers and buy hangers in-game as well. Yep, there's going to be deployable shields and gadgets. Yo. You ever read the subtitles on your videos because they're quite hilarious? No, I don't. I sometimes do. I will check them out at some point. I'll do. I need to start doing some Patreon and Subscribe Star exclusive sort of like behind the scenes videos. I think later on this month, I'm planning to read out some of the quite aggressive, nasty comments about Star Citizen and reply to them. Or like, you look like a fucking potato. Thanks. Like, what am I supposed to say to that? I mean, it's saying, okay, thanks. Organization that implements in 3.6 ship sharing with Augmates, so they can sell cargo with my Cutlass. They are working on group features, mission sharing and stuff like that. I don't know when we're going to be getting each of the stages of that, or the permission system that will allow for it. I know they've been working on it. I know it's important. But... Be a little drunk while reading those comments. I'll buy you the booze. I'll answer them as sarcastically and as appropriately as possible. Fuck you then, sort of thing. How do you get new systems other than the Stanton system? How do you get them? We'll travel to them in jump points. They don't exist yet, though. Hello, hello. Right. So, we've got BoredGamer, which is the Star Citizen Fan Fest, which I believe inspired CitizenCon, on the 27th of April in the UK, in Manchester, in the Science and Industry Museum. If you want to come to that, that would be amazing, because I will be there, having some drinky poos and saying hello, so feel free to approach me if you are there. Got JR Designer Fabrication, which are going to be there as well. They make pretty Star Citizen official props. So I believe they license each of these individual props, so you can get cargo crates for storage or for PC cases, and get all the like desk props from in-game. Looks like they might be making models of ships eventually as well. Full-sized or large dragon, maybe not a full-sized one, like 2/3 size. A big rideable, effectively, dragonfly model. They also made this lovely Saber Raven. He's a very talented man. Moist Noodle works with them as well. Cal's is a lovely woman. And they're good people. They are good people. So check them out. Special effect there, which are great to charity. Tickets range from £30 all the way up to £120. And £120 one come with a Freelancer Max model by JRDF, which is pretty cool. I don't know what size it's going to be though. Get challenge coins and t-shirts. Support BoredGamer! It's cool! Woo! What else have we got? Anything else interesting that I want to chill for or promote? What have we got? So this month subscriber perk is for the Anvil Hawk. Cool pictures of helmets. We had the monthly report as well. Monthly report had some cool information in. Working on a deeper economy, things like that. There's lots of 3.5 and 3.8 stuff in there. So they talk about new Babbage a lot and Microtech. Talk about ArcCorp. Getting all the stuff ready for that. Aaron appeared on Reverse the Verse and talked about the roadmaps being much less aggressively scheduled this year. So and they should be able to confidently get everything they put on there done, which is cool. We had some ship updates on the 300 series. The Carrack's looking amazing. The 890 Jump looked amazing. Reliant and the Vanguard updates, they look cool. I'm very much excited about the Vanguard, actually. So the Vanguard, all the Vanguards are getting the same ramp as the Hoplite, and they're reworking the central modules, and that will be for the Vanguard Warden. They're doing that, and then the Sentinel and the Harbinger, they will also get that love. Very much looking forward to the Carrack and the 890 this year, and the 300 series, sort of like way of customizing ships. That should be very interesting. If we can customize the loadouts and exterior of ships, and that be saved, so when we claim them, we get them back exactly like that. That would be cool. Hopefully, we'll get that for all ships, and that feature will be available in game and not just from the website eventually. Else I wanted to talk about majorly. You want to check out on my channel, I've got a breakdown of all the roadmap updates for 3.6, 3.7, 3.8, and the monthly report breakdown, as well as Aaron's interview on Reverse the Verse. So check that out, please. Look at Ben Parry and been talking about cloud tech and RTX and stuff, and David Colson has gone on to Reddit and talked a little bit more about the flow model, so I'll probably do a breakdown of that. If I'm anxious and unable to do any work tomorrow, anxious and unable to do anything else for work, maybe, I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I don't know. Yeah. Sort of like around for my mother than anything else, because I know my dad will just be like, I want to get home, just want to have the operation, get better, come home. But look after him a little bit, which probably won't actually be that much. Then, right. Oh, lots more people have been talking. I suppose they would be. They make a Brian Chambers. No, they didn't make Brian Chambers, but I do believe they made a Thor's weapon, the Thor's new weapon in Avengers. They made him one of those. What happened to the robot? The repair robot that we mentioned they were getting in 3.3. Reprioritized. They'll look at drones properly for the persistent universe later. Think we'll be able to hide in cargo crates or interact with boxes more? Yes, we'll be able to interact with them more, push and pull them, probably get in them, some of them. Will there be more capital warships in game? Yes, certainly. They mentioned implementing new group features. Any idea what that means? Yes, so some of it's mission sharing, so you're able to share missions with your groups and mates. The group leader will have access to all of the missions that any of his party members has and can share them. You'll also be able to like send each other money more easily and things like that. But it's expanding those group features so they're simple, basic, robust, but allow you to do everything you would want to do in a group, and whether that's a group that you play with regularly or one you've just teamed up with just for a single mission. Is there any talk about deployable, equipable camo such as ghillie suits? I suspect there will be some armor that is suited for particular locations and biomes. Likelihood of being able to insure upgraded ship components. Yeah, they should have insurance for that eventually, and they're looking into item insurance at the moment. There'll be lots of different levels of insurance probably. Is there currently any way to get new hangars? And we've already talked about that. Is Citizen Con always in the US, or does it jump around? It jumps around to Germany, to the UK, to the US. I believe it's going to be in the UK this year. Well, they also made a Kraken, yeah. They also made a model of a Kraken. I love Apex, mate. I don't need to shield for it. They don't give me nothing. I love their game. Something to play which helps stable my mind. So I suffer quite badly from depression and anxiety, and I will and I'm bipolar, or was used to be deemed manic depressive. So I will rapidly iterate on certain things that get into my head, and try and plan for every situation and every eventuality, and that gives me a lot of control. And that's as soon as I have that control and I feel like I've resolved all possible problems that could arise, then I calm down typically. But this can be for a letter coming through the door, a knock at the door, receive an email I didn't expect. Things like that can trigger me so hard that I'll be worrying for like days. And I can be like terrified about, I'm just going to die. I'm going to die tomorrow. I'm going to die of a brain hemorrhage. What if I die? What's that? What's the meaning of life? What if there's nothing? And I can be so fucking like anxious and depressed, terrified of everything. So yeah, it's something you got to kind of deal with. I can't remember what my point was or why I started talking about that, to be honest. Oh yeah, so Apex and Star Citizen and working helps calm my mind, helps chill me out because I'm focused on something, so I'm not worrying about stupid shit. Any board SC events coming up? I do need to start organising them. I've just been busy. As soon as my dad's out of hospital, I will try to work out what I plan to do with that. What do you suspect are changes from concept that are happening to the Defender? Josh talked a little bit. Josh Coombs, who's working on it, talked a little bit about it. He's changed the angle of the struts out slightly, the arms at the front. You can see it's got lots of visibility. You can see your co-pilot. It's going to be bronzy green, organic type metals rather than hypertech. It's sort of like organic mixed with tech. Yeah, bronzy green metals. They're reworking the interiors of the ship. I'm very, very excited for it. But we will be able to own a planet, or at least be in charge for a planet, or even a full system. We can sort of, Dominic, you can sort of lock those systems down and say that you own them. I'm not sure if there's going to be any gameplay mechanics which enforce ownership and tax and things or whatever, but you can say that you own a planet, and you can have an organization that tries to lock the planet down and says, if you come here, you have to pay us or whatever. I expect there will be systems for that in some way, but people don't have to respect them. Any new word on what we're able to do? Well, in UEE space, the land claims will matter. So land claims will say, this is my land. If you damage anything on here, or if I ask you to leave, you have to leave, sort of thing. Otherwise, it's a crime. But in places that don't have land claims, so like non-UEE space, it's just, that's a planet. That's not owned by anyone. So you can say you own it. Any new word on what we're able to do with spare game packages on a single account? Still customizable NPCs for friends to remote to. They've sort of like obscured the agent smithing. They got semi-confused about it, and we don't know what we're about to do with additional accounts on a single account with additional game packages. We don't know anymore. I will try and find out a more appropriate response. If ArcCorp has a no-fly zone below 400 meters, how do you make an emergency landing if you experience a power or engine failure? You don't. Try and land on one of the buildings above that. If Star Citizen or Squadron 42 and its concept become a huge success someday, do you think big players like EA or Activision could try and take over CIG or OSI? Do you think it would be good? I don't think. No, I don't think they would sell to them under pretty much any circumstances. It would kill exactly what CIG were trying to do. I mean, they're backer funded, they're community funded, and they're a labour of love, which is sort of why they work. They're non-traditional. I think EA and Activision or other companies might try and adopt similar practices to them, potentially. When is the next time all the ships will be on sale or available to buy? Probably November time, October, November time, with the anniversary sales and stuff like that. All of them. But throughout the year, you're likely to have sales for some of them. Legend, how do you pick who to give away to? Is it random or based on the comment? I think I fully describe in details in the comments below. There's a link to how the giveaways work. But basically, very, very simply, because I can't be asked to explain it fully because I don't really know anymore, because it's a system that basically randomizes what video from a month it goes, this video is the winning video, and then looks through all of the comments, and someone could have 1,000 comments in that video, but it would only count one of them. It literally counts their name effectively. Then it goes, this person is the winner, and then checks to see if that person is subscribed. Highly random. You could have 1,000 videos, but every video effectively gives you another chance to win. So if you are trying to game the system, you'd want to comment on each video once.
Tricksy little hobbitses.
Closing in on a year.
Oh, Poe Davies, thank you very much for the sub. Very much appreciated for the resub. Almost a year, 11 months. When is the next time? That's what we just answered. About CitizenCon, is it going to be in Manchester? I suspect so, Hurricane. But that's not a confirmation. Do you know that the chair was naughty in your absence? It kept making rude faces at us. I saw it with my own eyes. I doubt you saw it with your own eyes, JP, as you are blind. So good job. Mostly blind. Will we have tattoos for our characters? I very much suspect so. I expect there will be customization in-game for that, for aesthetics on characters. I'm curious about info running. Is there any info on that? I was curious if you could maybe sell fake information at the expense of players, reporting you and damaging your reputation. I don't 100% know how fake information will work. I know that you'll be able to gather information about things like astrofields and survey data about land and things like that and sell it. And I'm not sure how you'll package the data. We're not sure how you'll get fleet information and sell that to other players, whether it's going to be more, give me the money, you get rated based on sales for information, reputation, stuff like that. We just don't know. Makes sense that if it's like a slightly more loose system for it, where you just pay players for information and they rate you afterwards if the information was good. This guy's got really high rated info, but then they might have gamed the system to get really high ratings somehow. We have a list of all the actors in Squadron 42. If you literally go to their IMDb, you can have a look there. A load of the actors listed. Thank you for all the lovely actual comments there. Appreciate it. I appreciate all the support for me, my father and stuff. It's my anxiety and stuff is very manageable. I'm very lucky that I am able to manage it quite easily, and I always know I'm going to be better. A lot of people don't have that. So. When will the second solar system be in game? I suspect next year. There's Magnus or the Priority system they can do pretty easily. Do you expect long travel times? Only to get to a jump point to another, because once you get to the jump point, it will take you somewhere in that system. So I don't expect jump points will take you huge amounts of time. Maybe like a minute or two. If you step on a crack when you're jogging, you... Oh. Thanks, Murky Water. Appreciate it. It's good to know. Question. Shortly after Spacey was... Oh, no. What are these questions? Keeps the IG have measures in place to keep Mark and Gillian from becoming sexual deviants? I don't know. I suspect they seem like good people to me. You and your brother have our prayers and love from California. Appreciate it. That is a much better question or statement. Thank you. Right, you monsters. Some of you guys are monsters. I do appreciate the love, such as it is. Right. Any more questions on anything? I don't think there's anything I wanted to talk about in specific, but I think I've gone through everything I wanted to talk about. I would just take some more questions, and then I'll go and get some lunch and chill out for the rest of the day. Anyway, on unoccupied stations, can they be taken over by a group? Well, only as much as you can take over things in a group in the game now. So there's no hide gameplay that they've talked about taking it over in a group. Maybe there might be missions where holding them gives you resources or money or something. They might be really good spawn points for materials or like or drugs labs and stuff. I suspect that for the most part they'll be tied to missions, so that they'll spawn lots of NPCs on there that are pirates or part of missions that you can go and interact with or kill or get loot from or whatever. But yeah, it could be a mixture of all of that gameplay. It's not at all beyond reasonable expectation. Corsair or Titan suits? Any guesses? Oh, yeah. I mean, I suspect we'll see a Titan suit concept sale for the Persistent Universe Titan suits this year, soon, potentially. I suspect we'll see the Corsair probably as the first concept ship of this year. I was expecting to see Titan suits in game this year as well. Maybe first quarter of next year. Will there be giant space animals like space whales, and can we kill them? I believe so. I believe they've looked at space whales, so they might appear in game. We know there's the big sandworm. We know there's going to be other animals on planets, and some of them are going to be dangerous. Can I sell ships in game, and can I buy any ship in game, or only some of the ships? At the moment, you can only buy some of the ships in game with in-game currency. You can't sell any ships currently. Ship rentals are coming this year, so you will be able to rent a lot of ships. I'm not sure exactly which ones. Hopefully it's most of them. For less than 50 days till Brexit, what will happen with the Germany studio? There's going to be... we don't really 100% know, but I doubt it will affect anything too much. It might make trips between Germany and the UK less frequent or slightly harder to do. It's like more expensive, but they can do it all on Skype or whatever. Less freedom of movement. However, hopefully they'll come up with a deal that allows free movement still between Europe and the UK. Do you pronounce it GIF or GIF? Yeah, GIF or GIF. I don't know. It depends on how I feel. I'm inconsistent. Is there any plan to add a way to pilot in low visibility conditions, such as you're on the dark side of something, besides messing with your gamma in space settings? I'm not 100% sure. They did talk about they wanted stuff to still be visible at night and on the dark side of the moon, so they're tweaking those settings, I know. I'm not sure if there's going to be vision modes for your ships like that would allow you to see it, like night vision. Do I have access to Squadron 42 Alpha? No, not at this stage. I suspect that because I'm either Carty, I will get access to it, though, once it's available. Any news on joysticks for Star Citizen? No. We're not sure if they're going to have their own branded products and keyboards and things like that anymore when it comes to keyboards, HOTAS, that sort of stuff. But I suspect they'll want to do that in the future. I don't know where Nathan Dursley is. I haven't actually looked. I don't look into each of the staff members regularly, but I'll have a look at some point. Star Citizen were to be released within the British Empire within the late 1700s, would it be called Hussar Citizen? I have heard the flight system will change in the new update. Yes. How much will the new flight system change in the next update? So, yeah, it's going to be a huge change in 3.5 and then be dialed in and balanced, I suspected, from every additional update. It's a big change. They're changing loads of stuff. It's going to be like a whole new way of flying. It's going to be more momentum based. They're sort of like unifying the whole flight system, so there's no precision mode, there's no cruise speeds or whatever. You can just move between those. You've got a control from your velocity and from your acceleration, which you can set yourself. And yeah, it looks like it's good. It's a lot more simple. Should be hopefully fun. ESP should work a lot better. Things like that. So all I've been waiting for over a year. Any guesstimates when we'll see the Orion? No, unfortunately. Probably towards the end of next year. It's a big ship, though. Working on the Alien Isolation sequel, is he? Ooh. Yes, but we will. I'm almost certain we'll see mashed potatoes in game. Don't you worry. Will I be able to engage people in combat as well as navigate jump points and ruining them in the void forever? We're not sure how jump points are going to work. I expect they're just going to be go in, takes a little while, and you'll be out on the other side rather than dangerous. Maybe mapping a jump point might be more dangerous the first time it's ever mapped. If it's like a new jump point, there might be some dangerous jump points, but I'm not sure. I think they will scratch something from the current plans for 3.5. It's certainly a possibility that something could get pushed back to 3.6. But they did say that they're pretty high in their confidence level for everything in the roadmap now, or a lot higher than they've previously been. Do you have any idea how bounty would work in multiplayer to get someone, say in the Hawk? I suspect that once you down someone, once you like take them out with less than lethal methods, so with a stun gun or a particular type of ammo or whatever, they then effectively become cargo. You can pull their body off, they'll probably still respawn, but you've got their body as cargo, which you can then drop into the admin office. That's the way I would do it, because it seems the most sensible. There might be ways that players can escape and stuff, but I doubt it. I mean, in the future with bounty hunter ships that are very specifically used to get bounties, and if you've gone for the extra effort of downing someone with less than lethal means, they're probably going to be out for a few hours. It's probably best to just respawn them. Well, I do it, or put them in prison immediately, or assume that they've been captured. Oh my god. Given the popularity of multiculture, no, I'm not going to finish reading that. Fuck you. I hear that there are tractor beams in game. Yes, there is going to be. Does this mean I can throw people into the sun or throw small asteroids at people? I think you can throw small asteroids at people. I'm not sure if you'll be able to lock onto a person with a tractor beam, but maybe you will. They're for cargo and mining and salvage and things like that is what they're meant to be used for. Now, if there are any plans to increase player visibility more than 200 meters on foot, I don't know what they're going to do when it comes to visibility at day and night. When it comes to that sort of stuff, they're definitely trying to make the game look prettier. But I'm not sure what they need to do for culling and shadow maps and stuff like that. So they'll definitely try and make it so that players can see all of the distance, if possible. Do you think we might see a Corsair memory product for the Corsair ship? No, thanks. Do you think we'll see a version of the grey aliens in Star Citizen? I think we'll see something like that mentioned. Do you know what I mean? Maybe the Kerfak are little greymen. He's currently fanboying about Apex. So Apex Legends, I will shell for it because I love it. I'm not getting anything for shelling, unfortunately, but it's free. It's one of the best games I've ever played. It's pretty solid, really polished battle royale, really good fun. Any news on when the Vulture will be available? No, not. I was expecting it this year though. First quarter, second quarter next year, probably then. We might be keeping it back as a little secret. Do you think there will be ships in game that have limited available in game in ship shops and be sort of on first come first served basis until they pop up again on the rotor? Maybe they might do something like that. They might have some limited sales or whatever. That they're certainly going to have some Mark II versions of ships. Expect the economy in game to be run potentially like that. I don't know. It makes sense. They could do something like that. Every ship capable of charting a jump point. We're not sure how jump points are going to work, so don't know. I suspect there's going to be ships that are better at finding jump points and mapping them. Is truly an extension of Wing Commander? Well, no, it's not truly an extension of Wing Commander. It's the spiritual successor to it. The Kilrathi are basically the Vandal. You know, if they plan to add mini games, they've done some game dev specials where they've shown like little physics mini games they can do. I suspect there's going to be lots of apps on the Moby Glass, potentially like casinos or whatever. Might be some interesting social things to do, like casinos in game as well. The keyboard maps, like closing and locking doors, shortcut keys don't work. Any idea if there's any updates on that? They'll continue to fix and expand the keyboard and key sets. What exactly do you mean? Oh, you need to make sure you're on the right mode, like you're in advanced or not advanced or whatever. But I just set my keys however I want. Then use my keys. I set all my keys custom. Not all of them, but a lot of them. We need a pool. We'll have a pool. And there's going to be water properly in space and swimming and stuff. This year, in fact. Right. Any more questions? How do you feel about the F8A Lightning having 4 size 5 weapons, hardpoints, and 4 hardpoints? I think the civilian version might be balanced more for persistent universe use. And I still think the F8A might see some changes anyway. So I have to wait and see. But it's supposed to be a heavy fighter. It's going to be top tier, focused at military dogfighting and well, yeah. Nice seeing you today, Bored. Be well. Also love to you and your dad. Thank you very much. Very much appreciated. Yeah, so I'm not sure how it's going to affect content over the next few days. And my dad going to hospital, so I'll try and get some stuff out. So I wanted to do a slightly longer stream today and chat to people. So I hope that's cool with people. I hope you continue to support the channel. I saw on the star map on the website, this got me wondering, are these all star systems there, or will there be more? There may be more star systems that they are not showing us. There's, in my opinion, very likely to be hidden jump points and hidden systems. One on a Corsair tie-in, they were sponsors that lost it. Oh, they were, weren't they? Oh, maybe then. Maybe a Corsair. Oh. They were, weren't they? I remember seeing the little vouchers. What will the pull and push in 0G mechanic be used? Will be used? Even useful? Yeah, so you can pull yourself around. You won't ever be like entirely stranded if you're outside a ship. If you run out of EVA fuel, or if you're not in you haven't got a proper jetpack, or your jetpack's been shot or whatever. Now we've got our first in-game ship shops. When will we get the first ship shops? Oh, I don't know. Do you think we'll ever get a F7A in our hands? Yeah. I think we'll still F7A will still be sold. Start of the game. Where are all the big cities? Hurston. You want to fly over to Hurston? Lawville and Hurston. Right. I am still alive, but Gamla. Right. Let's see who else is. I will probably be back later tonight streaming some Apex Legends, for I am in love with that game, and it chills me out in the evenings. Oh, this guy streaming? I haven't seen stream before. Called Woodith Wolf. I'm going to host him in a second. Also, I do have a second channel, which I will start to be doing like either Apex Legends giveaways or just giving more star sets and ships away, as I have a reasonable amount on my account. I can just give away and to encourage people to watch my second channel, which is BoredGamer Legends, or it's BoredGamer Apex Legends at the moment, but it's going to be renamed to BoredGamer Legends. Is the second channel. It's linked on my page, but I will link it again because shill for self, best shill for self. This is so hard. Boom. Boom.
Hello and welcome to some
No.
Apex.
There you go. Chilling for self, best chilling. Oh, that was the other thing. There was this amazing video, which I will throw a little tiny clip of. I want people to go and see it themselves. 227 Shades of Star Citizen. This was amazingly well edited. Basically has dude walking around. Must have taken a long time to get this done properly. I suppose you could just have the camera revolving at the same distance. And when you clip it together, it looks amazing. Done it so well. Going through sort of like all of Patience of Star Citizen. It is so well edited together. It looks so good. Very, very talented. So go check out his video. The character's just, it allows you to do a little bit of everything, is why people like it. It's a cool, small, manageable, basically Corvette. It's got all, and it's got loads and loads and loads of like playability there. What will be in the next ship as a giveaway? I don't know. I haven't worked out what next month's giveaway is going to be yet. I might do a Carrack again. I'll see how much money's in the coffers for it and what sensible it is to do that. But yeah. But check out my second channel as well. Mwah. Thanks for all the monies. Thanks for all the love. Thanks for all the good feelings. Like, that's genuinely appreciated. Sure, everything will be fine, but it might affect the channel for the next couple of days at least. I'll try and get a couple of videos out there, so don't worry. But take care. You can continue to follow me on the Twitters as well. I love you guys, and yeah, peace out. Talk to you soon. Boom. Boom. Raging that dude. Give him some love.